again, but we knew, I mean, UCLA's got the heart of a champion, especially when they have Jaquez and Tiger out there. And, you know, we were fortunate enough to hold them off, and Jules hit a big shot, just like his good buddy Jalen did a couple years ago.
All right, we're going to open for questions. We're going to start, please, with questions for the student athletes before we get to coach. So if you'll raise your hand, be patient. We'll bring microphones to you. First question is right down front.
Dominic LeBois, UNLV Rebel Report. Julian, hometown product. Just take me through your emotions right now, hitting that huge shot and eventually the game winner in your hometown.
I mean, it's moments like that that you can't make up. I mean, those are literally the moments you dream of, you know, just to even make a shot like that in March Madness. And then, I mean, just to be back home in Vegas is like the cherry on top. But words can't describe how proud I am of just our team and our resilience. I mean, nothing was going our way. I mean, we weren't playing our brand of basketball at all through that whole first half. And, I mean, we flipped that switch. And, you know, there's not a lot of teams in the country who could, you know, bond together and make a run like that.
Let's go to the back middle.
Drew, John Fanta with Fox Sports. Can you just describe what we all just witnessed?
One shining moment. I think that's the best way to describe it. I mean, Julian, man, he just took on all of GU and just buttered that thing. I mean, I can't even really describe what he just did. It's crazy. It's just like that Jalen shot, man. But it's crazy. I can't even really describe it. I'm not speechless too much, and I'm pretty speechless after that. I mean, but I am the #1 Julian Strawther fan forever now.
Over here.
With Sports Illustrated Media Group. Julian, was that the play call that Coach Few called for you to take a pull-up three like that? Can you just take me through the play call and then when you got the ball, what you did?
I mean, yeah, the play was a little dribble handoff action, see if we could, you know, get a defense on their heels a bit. And initially when Coach drew it, he kind of drew, you know, just search it a little bit, maybe go downhill. And I kind of just asked him, like, can I shoot it? Like, if no one steps up on me, like, do you want me to shoot it? And he was like, absolutely. So then I shot it.
Over here a little stronger language than that.
Yeah, I'm just keeping it PG, man.
Over here to the left.
John Teitel from Hoops HD for Drew. You tied Brandon Clark's school record tonight with 36 points in the tourney game. As a guy who's only lost 12 games in your college career, did you just put the team on your back and did you just refuse to lose or something like that?
No, I mean, we just got hit in the mouth and we just had to battle and fight. And, you know, in the first half, the ball happened to be bouncing friendly to me, so I felt like I was hot, so I just wanted to keep shooting. And then in the second half, everyone, like Malachi really stepped up, Julian stepped up, Tom was playing huge defense. Like, we just rallied. And I think that's just kind of the story of this year. You know, the first 20, as much as we might not like it to be, is probably not our best 20, but we somehow, some way, we dig deep and we find a way to just come together and rally and keep fighting. And I think that's the beauty of this team is we may be down, but we're not out.
Okay, right here in the front row.
Jade Thomas, UNLV TV. So this one's for you, Drew. You were all over the glass today, all over the board, and then tomorrow you have another, or Saturday, you have a big matchup against another great rebounding team, Adama, huge. What are you looking forward to with that matchup?
It's going to be a battle. They have two great bigs, just looking at the matchup, and they're both forces. They're both equally good, I think. It's going to be a battle, and I mean we're going to have to play hard and gritty, and we're going to have to get dirty and nasty and do whatever it takes to win because you know they got a hell of a duo, big man punch. So it's going to be a war.
Okay, let's go to our Zoom. Dan Tortora.
Dan Tortora, wakeupcalldt.com. Drew, you made the decision to come back and be a part of this team this season. To sit here in this moment, one step away from the Final Four, reflecting on the fact that you decided to come back, just what this run has been like for you personally?
To be honest, we're just playing. I'm not worried about when my last game is or this or that. It doesn't matter. One game at a time. Final Four is a long 40 minutes away. Long 40 minutes. You can't even think about that. So just game by game, day by day. I don't like to get sentimental or think about feelings in that regard, but I want to go to war with anyone else other than these guys.
Okay, one more on Zoom. We'll go to Christopher Heidel.
Hey, this is Chris Idell from Herb FM Radio in Baltimore. Congratulations on the win. This question's for Julian. You're from Las Vegas. Just talk about the crowd tonight. Is it something you saw when you were playing high school ball, or you're pretty excited about how the arena was?
I mean, every time we got a chance to come down here and play in Vegas, I mean, Vegas usually shows up and they show out, and it's loud and it's electric. I mean, we got the opportunity to play UCLA last year in a T-Mobile Arena, and it was a similar atmosphere. I mean, it's just crazy. I mean, it's a great venue, great city. I mean, it's slowly becoming a basketball town. So, yeah, I'm just super happy with how the crowd was. I mean, it was loud in there. Like, it was really loud in there.
Can we get some questions for Malachi? He had a hell of a game. I think we need to show him some more love. So next couple questions
right
are
here
for
in the front
Malachi.
row.
Yeah, Jim Root, three-man weave. This one's for you, Malachi. It seemed like in the second half, Coach Few turned to you and Hunter quite a bit in the backcourt. First half, they had a lot of ISO buckets, and you guys really stood up defensively. Was that something you kind of expected going in with their big wing scorers, or was that more of a surprise?
No, Coach, tells us that, we can come in off the bench and provide a spark on defense. And, in the first half, Coach was saying that that's not how we play. And, when I got out there, I just wanted to have an impact and just, help slow those guys down. And it was a total team effort, but, I just really take pride on that defensive end. And, I was glad I was able to contribute.
Okay, back middle.
This is for the players. Drew, you talked about before.
Excuse me, please identify yourself and affiliation.
Austin Montgomery, Mid-Major Madness. You've said in the past you guys are better when other teammates are like Julian or hunting shots. Can you just talk about how you got the other guys involved when you guys went on the run later in the second half?
It's kind of just how we play. We like for all five guys to touch the ball every possession. We really like to move it and play with some pace and really just kind of churn the butter a little bit. So that's an easy way for everyone to get involved. And then when you have guys hunting shots and being aggressive, it just spaces the floor more and makes it way easier on each other. So we know that in order for us to be at our best offensively, we all need to be aggressive.
Okay, back here.
Brian Shapiro, KSHP Radio. For any of the players, what was said at halftime? It seemed like a tale of two different halves, especially what you guys were able to do defensively in the second half. You disturbed their offense. What was said at halftime?
That we have another 20. And, we just had to realize that we weren't playing the way we know how to play. And, as leaders, we had to step up and just be the voice in the locker room and just say, you got to forget that 20, and the next 20 has to be different. And at the end of the day, just go out there and, if we're going to lose, go down swinging. Don't go down not playing the way we know how to play. So whether it was a win or loss, we played that second half the way that, Gonzaga does.
Okay, we're here in the front.
Jay Thomas, UNLV. This is for all the players, but how important is it to have someone like Malachi to come in that get a few assists, really emphasize on defense and, not necessarily care about I'm going to get mine, but more just being a team player?
Oh, I mean, it's huge. I mean, Malachi kind of touched on it, just his ability to be a spark. I mean, someone had to get it going. Obviously, Drew was playing really well, but, a lot of us were struggling. And, we couldn't get many stops. And Malachi came in, and he made huge plays defensively. And I think that really got him going on offense. He was able to, get to his spots really easy, get to his push shot floater. And, he was just making plays, and he was bringing energy. He was celebrating every play, offense, defense, turnover, basket. He was there, and, it kind of inspired everybody.
Drew, you want to address that too? She was asking about Malachi. You said all the players.
No, I mean, for Malachi to be a player of the year in his conference and to come here and come off the bench, I just think it's a true testament to his character. I don't know how many people are in general are okay with accepting a lesser role, because he's way more capable than I think you guys see. And, he never complains. He comes in, he works hard, he does everything that's asked of him and more. And I think that's what's most admirable about him, is that he could do that a lot, but he knows on this team it's not his role every night. And I think he knows when to step up. He's great at feeling the game, and just his selflessness, I think, is something that's so huge for this team. And we wouldn't be here without him. And I don't think as a program we can just express our appreciation enough for what he does and what he's meant to this program.
Alan.
Alan Snell with LVSportsBiz.com. In early March, you guys come to the Orleans Arena and just pack the place with your fans. Seems like every year. I was wondering what kind of crowd, what kind of showing are you expecting in a couple days?
I mean, fans, our fans turn out for us, but at the end of the day, we got to go out there and just roll the ball out and play. And, it's going to be going both ways, but we got to just focus on the players in the locker room and just go out there and compete for another 40 so we can, continue this journey.
Okay, front.
Dominic Dubois, UNLV Rebel Report. This question's for Malachi. So Julian touched on it. You really got going, and Drew also touched on how you have a really good feel for the game. Just tell me, you hit some big shots down the stretch. What allowed you to kind of get into that rhythm?
I mean, I think one of the things when you're on the bench, you can kind of see how the flow of the game is going. And, Drew was having it, so they were kind of keying on him a little more. So just being confident and being aggressive and knowing that, okay, come off ball screens and the scheme that they were running, we knew that those were the shots that we're going to be able to get. And like Drew said, I know I put the work in, and, they got all the faith in me. So I'm going to have confidence shooting those shots, and, they went in.
Okay, back here.
Connor Morissette, Sports Illustrated Media Group. For Drew, you, of course, already a Gonzaga legend, but tonight I think you elevated to one of the best college basketball players of all time. What does that mean to you, being one of the best of all time?
That's super cool that you'd even say something like that, but to be honest, I'm just in the moment playing. That's not something that I'm, even like the scoring record, everyone asks me all the time, like that stuff's cool, but I'm not in a place where I'm going to appreciate that until I'm done. I don't like to be sentimental. I just like to put 100% forward and not really reflect or look back. But it's super cool that you would say something like that. But it's something I can't really appreciate, I think, until I step back and, are removed a little bit.
Okay, we're going to take a couple more from Zoom. Christopher Heidel.
Hey, this question is from Malachi. Let's talk about when was the turning point for you guys during the season? When did you know when you guys had a special ball club?
I think that LMU loss at home kind of opened our eyes and realized that if we don't, play the way we're supposed to, that this season could not go the way we want it to. So I think from that game forward, we kind of locked in on our defense more, and I think we came together as a team more as well, and just knew that if we play the way we're supposed to play, that we're capable of, getting to this point. So I would say that after the LMU loss at home, we kind of woke us up.
Okay, we'll go to Dan Tortora on Zoom.
For each of the student athletes, Dan Tortora, wakeupcalldt.com, how would you define the Gonzaga Bulldogs when you think about this team, this season, this run? How do you define it?
Who is that directed at?
To all three student athletes, please.
I would just say resilience. There's been a lot of games where we've been down at half or down late, and there's just so much fight in this team, and we've faced so much adversity through the season. Early on, a lot of people were writing us off, and like Malachi was saying, after that LMU loss, it was dark. We had a record home winning streak going before that loss, and after that, it really woke us up. And I mean, Coach Few really got into us, and he really got every piece of effort out of us. He really brought everything out, and I'm just so proud of the guys for how we responded. I mean, it's easy to fall and fold when things aren't going right, but every time we seem to just make a run or make a push or someone steps up, I mean, it's just huge. Not too many teams can say they've been through the adversity we've been through this year and been able to be resilient.
I would just say, chip on our shoulder, going into every game feeling like we got something to prove, and just going out there with the mentality we got nothing to lose, let's go out swinging, and just have a chip on our shoulder and just play for each other. And that's what I would say.
I would say we're some tough SOBs. I mean, we've been down, and of course. We've been down, and people have loved to just kick on us, and everyone just tried, Gonzaga stinks, this, that. But, it can be a lot sometimes, especially when you're down and you lose, and, as a team, you're not feeling as good. And we just got back up and kept fighting. We picked ourselves up. No one gave us a handout. We had to get up ourselves. And I think that's just a true testament of who we've become, and this is why you guys are seeing this growth from us. Is we got up by ourselves. No one picked us up. No one wanted us to get up, but we got up anyway. And I think we're just warriors, and that's just kind of what coaches instilled in us from day one.
Okay, we're going to release the student athletes. Congratulations, guys. We'll see you tomorrow. We'll take questions for Gonzaga head coach Mark Few. Dan, back here in the back.
Dan Wolkin, USA Today. Mark, to go back to the conversation you were having with Julian in the huddle about the final play, I was just curious when he says, hey, can I shoot it? Is that qualified, that it's got to be an open shot or it's got to be, a certain distance? I mean, he was way back there when he let that thing go.
I'm just telling you, he's made that shot multiple times for us this year. If you look back to the BYU game, he had a very deep three, a dagger three like that in that game, very similar. We practice that play. That's Jay Wright's play used at the end of the Villanova-Carolina game, the championship. That's what we call it. So, and he makes it all the time. So, yeah, when he asked me, it was stronger words than what he used. I just said, yeah, make it. But if he was closely guarded, I wanted him going downhill and seeing if he could get to his floater, which he's been great at all year.
All right, Jay.
UNLV TV. UCLA doubled in the second half on Drew just for a play, and he kicked it out to Julian, hit a three. How important is it for your team to stay ready on the perimeter even when Drew is having dominant games on the inside?
Yeah, no, that's a great call. He's been dealing with that all year. He's been dealing with that his entire career. He's been so good. And so this group does a great job, especially Julian's always shot ready. Malachi's shot ready. The TCU game, he threw out to Razir Bolton at the start of the second half 2 times in a row that really got us going. So it's kind of who we are.
All right, over here.
Jim Meehan, spokesman review. Mark, tough guarding those guys in the first half, especially those 3, but how did you turn it around for nearly all the second?
We were not, and they're really, really good. And they're not only really good, they're really, really tough. And I think we got knocked back much like we did in the TCU game. I think that this time it was just because of their will and toughness. We were not guarding well, or for whatever reason, our ball screen coverage defense slipped back to where it was in November. And it has not been like that the last 6 or 7 weeks. So I just challenged him on that, and I said, we got 20 minutes. That's plenty of time. There's no 10-point play I'm going to draw up, but we just, possession by possession, we got to play better defense. And we just had some really uncharacteristic kind of bonehead turnovers in the first half, too. Air dribbles, and I think we lost like 3 bouncing it and traveling and doing all kinds of stuff. So challenged them on that regard to start taking care of the ball, and you've been with us all year. This is such a resilient crew, man. They just find a way to win. It's probably not as aesthetically pleasing as some of the other teams we've had up there, but man, is it effective.
Right here in the middle.
Tarek Patel from Los Angeles Daily News. Coach, at a point when UCLA was looking good, the pace of play, was that something you felt like was in your favor despite you guys not playing right? You felt like eventually it would work in your favor?
Yeah, no, I loved the pace of play. I just did not like how we were taking care of the ball, and we talked about that. The pace needed to be the same. We tried to press him a little bit in the second half to kind of get some things going to see if that would pick him up. But Tiger's so good at managing all that. It's really hard to speed him up, and you have to be careful, especially with Singleton kind of lurking out there on the perimeter. So, we just got back to, we changed a little bit, and not even changed. We just reinforced what our ball screen coverage was supposed to be, and they did a much better job in the second half. Their numbers are 30% field goal and 27 from 3 is much, much better than it was in the first half.
Over here.
John Titel from Hoops HD. I wanted to ask you about the similarities to your last game as an assistant in '99 in the West Regional. Casey had the tip-in at the end in the Sweet 16, and then you faced UConn in the Elite 8. I know it was a lifetime ago, but I was just curious, your memories, any similarity to now in terms of getting a team ready after such an exciting Sweet 16 game or anything?
Nah, I couldn't even tell you, really. That was like 77 dog years ago or something when you do this coaching stuff, man, maybe 125 dog years or something. No, I did tell the guys this, hey, we celebrated. We didn't celebrate, but we were just so excited after the Final Four win over UCLA. I I just said, hey, we'll celebrate this in the locker room, and then we're on to UConn when we walk out of this locker room. So they got the message. They're dialed in. But UConn is, I mean, I think they're playing probably better than anybody in the tournament right now. I mean, I've got to see them several times, and they've just done a fabulous job of roster building. I mean, the pieces they have fit really, really well. They got multiple bigs. They got big wings. They got guards that can shoot threes and run some good stuff. I mean, and that's going to be a heck of a challenge for us.
Okay, we're going to go. Microphone's coming to you there. Okay.
Mark, John Fanta with Fox Sports. So much of this tournament, people talk about validation and winning games in it. And like when a game comes down to what it just came down to, where they hit a big-time shot, you answer. Can you just describe that contrast and the wave that comes with it versus what people on the outside sometimes are saying about these games once they go final?
I mean, I agree with a lot of the stuff you referenced in that. I said this before. I think it's the hardest thing to do in our profession is win NCAA tournament games. I mean, it's so hard to get to this tournament, as we saw this year. I mean, we got some legendary programs that didn't even make it this year. When you look at Villanova, it's an unbelievable program. And North Carolina's not the greatest program ever close to it, behind Duke or Kansas. And Michigan didn't make it. And so there's some great programs that did not make the tournament. And then once you get in the tournament, I think everybody just can see just how hard it is to win. It's hard to win a 3-14 game. Hell, it's hard to win a 1-16 game. We've been in multiple ones of those, and there's a tremendous amount of pressure on you. And so you just got to find a way to win, and you got to trust your guys. You got to keep them confident. I mean, I got after them a little bit, but I made sure I said the only way we're going to do this is if we play with emotion, we play with confidence, and we get back to, quit moping and let's go. We got 20 minutes left. We'll take this.
All right, got one down here. We're going to take 2 Zooms, and then we're going to let Coach go.
Jim Root from Three Man Weave. You just mentioned roster building with UConn. How important was it for you to have guys off the bench that can do different things? You got bigger wings that you leaned on a lot in the second half. It seemed like a better matchup for them. How important is that for the way you guys structure it?
It's been great to have, but it's been a challenge for myself and our staff to just figure out which one of those guards is playing good, and kind of juggling them around. And I think we got it right today in the second half. I thought Hunter really, really stepped up and gave us great minutes and kind of energized us, as well as you guys referenced Malachi, and he's done that numerous times for us. But the TCU game, it was a Razir Bolton story, and Nolan Hickman played really, was tough-minded and did a lot of great things in that game. So it's just finding that balance with those guys. In the end, though, the 3 of Anton, Drew, and Julian are most likely always out there. And even though Jules wasn't having his best game, I have so much confidence in him being able to step up and make a shot like that.
Okay, we're going to go to Zoom to Dan Tortora.
Dan Tortora, wakeupcalldt.com. Coach, looking at the guys that were just sitting there next to you, Malachi has the big steal at the end to silence the game. Julian has the 3 to get the victory. Drew scores almost 40. You talk about this team being resilient. Where does this game stack up to other games where we've seen the resiliency of Gonzaga?
I mean, they've kind of had several of these this year. I mean, we had them even several of them in our league to start our league. I think we dug our way back and won. The first 2 we had on the road with San Francisco and Santa Clara was like that. We had to do the same thing with BYU on the road. They were all on the road. We kind of stacked those where we were behind and really wasn't looking good. So, I mean, this one's probably up there with them, but surpasses them just because of the moment and what we were playing for and all that.
Okay, we're going to take a final question from Christopher Heidel.
Hey, Coach, this is Chris Heidel from Herbison Radio in Baltimore. I have a question about, you win the big game tonight. What do you guys have to do tomorrow to keep the momentum going until Saturday? Because I know a lot of people don't want to have a letdown, but what do you have to do to keep everybody, ready to go?
I mean, I don't think that's going to be a problem. We're playing for, go to the Final Four. So, I mean, that's a dream of all the players, and certainly as a coach, you want that for your players. It's more about getting them rested. And, obviously after a game like this, about all you can do is walk through some stuff and move them around a little bit tomorrow to go through. UConn's a hard one-day prep, man. They run a lot of great stuff. They're not a simple team to guard. They have multiple players that, can really hurt you. So we'll be up all night tonight and burning at both ends to get these guys ready. And we're going to have to play like extremely good, to be able to beat a team as good as UConn the way they're playing.
Thanks, Coach. We'll see you tomorrow.
Yep.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.